Welcome, everybody. Views from the 22 here. We are here, me and myself and I'm just kidding, me and Vic Jr. Um, we are -1 today. Jern So Chu is not available for us today, but we will have him back tomorrow morning for the second pregame show. We got a great matchup show prepared for y'all today and tomorrow. We got a great set of matchups this weekend. Um, four really good games, four really tight matchups. We're going to highlight the two games today, being first the Colts at the Chiefs, and then later in the NFC game when the Dallas Cowboys visit the Coliseum to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Great matchups, great environment, great weekend for football. Vic Jr., say hi to the people and just your opening thoughts on these games.
Yo. Views from the 22. Mo Chef, Vic. Um, just looking forward to another weekend of playoff football, man. Haven't been able to watch too many games this season due to work schedules. It looks like I might be going into work for the first game, but I'll be back out watching that Cowboys game. Should be entertaining. It's all these games again this week should be fun, man. It's incredible this season. How many matchups so far in the playoffs have been very good. They last week lived up to some good games too. Um, Probably the Texans and Colts was probably the only one that wasn't a great success for the Texans. But these matchups should be good, man. Especially the Colts and the Colts and Chiefs. It's incredible, man, and this is something we talked about before. And it's like, you know, throughout the beginning of the season, at first in the AFC, it looked like it was going to be the Patriots run through it. And then all of a sudden, the Colts get hot, and the Chiefs have been fairly consistent all season, but they did take a L to the Patriots, and it's just crazy how football changes so much, man. Because now the Colts just look like a team that could run through this whole thing, bro. And it's incredible how much the Cowboys at one point looked like shit, and all of a sudden, I could find myself eating my finished words again for 2 years in a row. We had Philly hashtag finish, and they finished. I've been giving the Cowboy fans hashtag finish, and they might finish.
We got to get rid of that terror, man.
Listen, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked that they get through the Rams this week. You guys think that they have a better chance than I do, but again, that's why we play the game. We're gonna show some film here. To see some matchups, especially that Cowboys front seven was just outstanding against Seattle, man. So we'll show some stuff on that.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, we can actually start there. Let me share my screen here real quick. Get that out of the way. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do anything else, make sure it gets switched to my screen so people can see my screen and not your face while I'm talking. Okay, there we go. It's switching. So since you touched on the Seahawks versus the Cowboys last week. And, if you guys tuned into our show, the one thing I said, and I'm going to openly admit this, I felt like Seattle would just be able to run the ball at will versus the Seahawks. And I thought the Seahawks would be able to run the ball at will versus the Cowboys. And that just certainly wasn't the case. So Vic Jr. dived into it, and he has some plays to show y'all here just to highlight some of the great things that Dallas was able to do. We're going to start with this one, and then it's two plays in a row. The first one is a 2nd and 6 at the 9:17 mark. So, Vic, whenever you want, just take it away. I'm going to run it full speed from the sky angle, and then we're going to slow it down from the end zone angle. All right?
Yeah, man, and again, like I expected. I mean, you're talking about this is the number one rushing team all season, and again, the Cowboy front seven. Like I highlighted the linebackers last week, but they were able to get bodies on the linebackers throughout the game. But they were losing these one-on-one matchups against the defensive line. Like the Cowboys' defensive line was incredible. We got Tyrone Crawford here on the left. We got Antoine Woods playing the one technique here on the left. You got Malik Collins playing the 3 technique here on the right, and you got DeMarcus Lawrence playing here on the left defensive end, and you're gonna see that the guards and the centers were able to or what the game plan was to get bodies on 54 and 55 immediately. But what happened was the guys that were then responsible for the defensive line lost their matchups throughout this game. And you're gonna see here, this is a 5-yard game by Carson, and it's gonna be mostly due to him kind of creating this yardage here.
Yeah. I mean, Malik Collins sort of blows up this play.
Is that the 5-yard play?
Yeah. So
okay, yeah, because he kind of dragged him on that one a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, Meek, and you're gonna see like Malik Collins is gonna win his one-on-one matchups. You're gonna see DeMarcus Lawrence win his one-on-one matchups, and I expect the Rams to kind of come out with this same game plan against the Cowboys front seven. But they should be able to maintain their blocks, a little bit longer than the Seahawks and things like that. Run that. Which one play is this?
This is the 32. 8:33. This is the second play.
Okay, first quarter.
Yeah.
Nah. First quarter. That's not the first quarter, is it?
This is the first quarter, man.
So was I off on those timestamps? Is that the first possession for Seattle?
Yes.
Okay, so go. Oh, I'm sorry. It must have been the second.
I got you. So this is the first play you wanted to show.
Yeah, it's a 5-yard and a 3-yard gain. There we go. See, there we go. So again, you'll see how they got the bodies up. There was a little bit confusion with the Cowboys linebackers, and there's times where you'll see them do that. But then the next play, you'll see them get bodies on bodies. You'll see the guard get up on 55, tackle get up on 54, but Collins wins his matchup immediately. And again, if he's able to do this against the Rams, it's going to be key to stop the Rams and Todd Gurley. We're going to see the next play at 5:32. This is Antoine Woods. They're going to break up a screen here, and that's again, that's a staple of the Rams offense. We got an 8-yard loss on this one. And Antoine Woods is the one technique, but he reads this very well. He's going to be playing the one technique here on the left.
Right here.
You're going to see Crawford kind of make Carson kind of come out more. He gets stuck there.
Right.
And Antoine Woods just reads it well. And, of course, the offensive line is not going to want to grab him because then they get a holding call. But, I mean, these guys, the Cowboys front seven was just off the hook. And these plays are mostly in the first quarter. You know what I mean? So they were just able to set the tone for the whole game and how they were able to dominate the first quarter to start. The next one is at 1:36, and then so we got another back-to-back plays here. 1:36 and 52 seconds.
Right, and I think just to add to something real quick, but are you watching the show from another device?
No.
Because there's a bit of an echo. I don't know why. I think just to add one more thing, I think it just speaks to how great of a job the defensive coaching staff of Dallas with Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard had these guys ready because they just understood how Seattle was going to come out and attack them. And we always talk about coaching. That's another thing is that I expect Dallas to be fully prepared for however the Rams are going to attack them.
Right. So on this play right here, was this this is DeMarcus Lawrence kind of disrupting this play with Jalen Smith and stuff like that. And Germ stressed the fact that Penny should have had more touches because out of the 43 yards that Seattle had, Penny had 28 of that, and on one carry.
Right.
So in this situation right here, you could kind of see where, because it's right. It's true. Like Penny can create a little bit more. So if you run that back a little bit more, Mo, you could kind of see that the guards that are pulling here, they kind of are able to set the edge here a little bit, and he could have bounced this out. But as physical as Carson likes to be, he wants to kind of be, take the ball in between tackles and between holes and things like that. And they were able to stop this play with DeMarcus Lawrence cutting across the formation.
Right. Right. Look at them. I mean, this is just a great heads up play, great pursuit, great angle he takes to the ball. You can see Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, the two linebackers, they're doing their job.
Yep.
Edge is set. You could see at the beginning, is that 99? Is that 98? That's Woods.
Yeah, Woods was disruptive. Collins, you see Collins already. Not yet. 99 was already in the backfield. But I mean, here you could have a situation where Penny might have been able to press that hole and then bounce it outside, and just try to make a play out of it. And I mean, I think, what was it, 48 yards on 25 carries. They were able to control this, the Seattle rushing game. It was an incredible show by the Cowboys front seven. Which plays is the 52 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah, you got a sack here by Malik Collins. Again, he's playing. He should be playing the 3 technique. Is he on the 3 technique on this one, or the 1? It looks like he was the 1 on this play, man. But I mean, let's see from the end zone view. Right, so he starts off on a more heavier look from the right side at the 1 technique, and then he's going to shift over pre-snap. I mean, and then he just splits the A gap, man. And it's it just the Seattle front, the Seattle offensive line, as good as they were all season, with the run blocking, it just seems like they struggle laterally, man. Like they just struggle laterally. They just let some of these guys get by. I mean, it was impressive, and I just don't expect the Rams to struggle like this. I don't expect the Rams to struggle laterally. The Rams use a lot of outside zone with their runs, so they're going to have this defense going, horizontally a lot. The linebackers do have the speed for that, but it's going to be key as to if the Rams are going to block that front 4 for the Cowboys.
Absolutely. This is the quarter 2, 7:55.
Yeah, this here is DeMarcus Lawrence pushing his guy out of the way. Collins looks like he's halfway blocked, but he's just able to get his hands around the running back and stuff like that. At first, he gets a deuce block on him, but he's able to control the blocker. I mean, they just held them here to a field goal, as you can see. They get a 3rd and 7 in completion after this play, and they have to kick the field goal. But without the run game, Seattle wasn't able to really do much against this defense.
Right. And I think all in all, what you're seeing is from the Dallas defense is they're not being moved, man. Like everybody's doing their job, everybody's being physical, everybody's attacking, and there's just no space really for the running backs to go because again, you got to move the line of scrimmage, and the Cowboys are controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we got a question here from our team. Thanks for joining, bro. He said, "What are the weaknesses with the defense? If you're McVay, where do you attack?" So again, the Cowboys were 5th against the run this year,
Right.
and that was something I was just looking at. Out of the top 10 top run defenses, the Cowboys and the Colts had the most rushing attempts against them in the top 10. The Colts had 415 rushing attempts against them, and the Cowboys 400. And they still gave up under 4 yards a carry. I think the Cowboys were at 3.5, and the Colts were at 3.8. But if you're gonna find weaknesses with this front, it's still gonna be in the middle with Antoine Woods and Malik Collins. They're more athletes because again, the Marinelli scheme is getting more athletes on the field as opposed to those big guys that can plug holes or take on two blockers at the same time. So there is going to be running lanes. Again, the Rams offensive line is the #1 ranked offensive line, especially with the run. They're very impressive laterally. They're able to move their feet laterally and get the fronts moving laterally. They maintain their blocks longer. So Gurley has more time to get to the hole or to find his holes before he's even touched. I think he led the league in yards before contact. So if they're able to win these one-on-one matchups against Collins and Antoine Woods, and even DeMarcus Lawrence, get two blockers on 54 and 55, they should be able to have some running success against the Cowboys. But again, there's times where the Cowboys just dominate, man, and they've had some very dominant games against a lot of rushing teams. The only one was against Marlon Mack and the Colts. I think I think it was like 150 something yards he was able to get on them. So the weaknesses are still going to be in the middle, and we're going to see a little bit of Gurley plays soon to kind of highlight that offensive line, and you're gonna be able to see automatically how the offensive line is able to move better laterally than the Seattle offensive line.
Do you have those timestamps on Gurley?
Gurley. Oh shit, my fault. Hold on, we got it right here.
That's right. Well, while Vic is looking that up, we're gonna move over to we're gonna start with the defense first. So Vic just showed the Cowboys defense and their front seven and their ability in the run game. To me, and Artemis, I'll answer your question a little later. Vic kind of touched on everything, and especially with the Todd Gurley effect. But to me, really, the weakness in the Rams defense is in that front seven, and it is in their run defense more than anything. So this first play we're going to show you again. I'm going to run through these because I haven't watched this in a while, but I collected these timestamps earlier. Just keep your eye here on the linebackers, really, and I'm going to show you exactly. They just kind of keep getting lost. They're in their assignments, in pursuit, in gap integrity, and really the biggest guy who I think Dallas is going to attack is right here, number 58, Corey Littleton. He's a little undersized. They provide good speed in the passing game, but obviously in the run game, that is where they lack. And you can see here, I mean, look, he's got a clear line to the gap right here. He's got a straight path to the gap. He needs to attack this hole, attack the gap, and blow up this play. Instead, he's hesitating. He's not sure where exactly to go. A little bit of patience here by Mike Davis, and he ends up whiffing on the tackle. Davis is able to bounce it and take it for 12 yards. As you can see, in Ndamukong Suh, especially with Aaron Donald not being on the play, he's going to get a lot of attention. The edge is a relatively weak for the Los Angeles Rams in their run defense. They have a relatively soft edge, in my opinion.
And we'll go back to that play again real quick, Mo. Because isn't 26 Barron?
Right.
See how he didn't keep his gap integrity either.
Absolutely not.
Look at how he collides with his player instead of staying in that A gap there.
Right, exactly. That's a great insight. See, and they're all in that one spot, and that does nobody any good. And Davis is just able to take it for an easy, well, not an easy 12 yards, but
it's a good 12 yards.
It's a good 12 yards, certainly. Next play, same thing here. That he's not very assertive in the run game. He's not very aggressive. He's not very strong.
Yeah, in comparison to the Cowboys front, I mean, these guys don't have a chance, man. As good as they have the best defensive tackle in football, they probably have the best pass rusher in football.
Right.
But when it comes to run defense, they're going to struggle against the Cowboys. So it's going to be important, again, like Art is asking for McVay to continue to attack that Cowboys front and just hope that their blockers are able to maintain their block so that Gurley can control the game.
Right. And we're going to show Gurley in a second. Here he actually ends up making a decent play. But you could see again, he almost he almost doesn't even make the play. Luckily, he makes it. But we actually saw a play very similar to this when we were studying these guys, where it was the same situation and same thing. The guy bounced it to the outside, and he ended up whiffing on him. But he ends up making a nice play here. He just needs to be more consistent and more assertive and more aggressive. Right. Same with Mark Barron. I mean, it's not all. Yes, they have Aaron Donald. Yes, they have Ndamukong Suh. But really, when your linebackers are not able to help in the run defense quite as often as you would like them to, it's going to lead to big plays. It's going to lead to gaping holes. Yeah. And so, this is the guy right here, number 58 and number 26, Mark Barron. They're going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to be assertive. They're going to have to hit the hole. And the same way we showed, I don't know if anybody saw the Lamar Jackson film study that I did earlier this week. It was a short little 4-minute clip. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. But I talked about often that the Chargers just had a mentality. And even though they had 7 DBs out there, those safeties that were playing in the box, they just had that mentality that they were going to be more physical despite the size advantage. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And in the playoffs, you got to have some fight in you if you want to keep advancing.
And something important here, Mo, as you can see in that situation, again, the Seattle game plan was to quickly get on that second level. As opposed to the Rams, they double-teamed Ndamukong Suh, they double-teamed Aaron Donald, and let the running backs or the fullbacks deal with the linebackers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can see the different game plans as you adjust to the defense you're going up against.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how McVay attacks that. I personally think that he's going to try to get his guys up to the second level immediately. You will see the guards on 54 and on 55 immediately. And try to create some passing lanes for Gurley.
So showed you a little bit of the 2 defenses. We're going to go now to the 2 running backs who make these offenses as dangerous as they are. Everything flows for both these teams. Everything flows through their running back. For the Rams, what they want to do is like everything just Vic said, and it's all predicated on play action. And play action is not successful if you don't have a running game to threaten that. And as good as Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch have been, they are still relatively rookies. I mean, Jalen Smith, this is kind of his first year where you can see he's fully healthy, and Leighton is a rookie. They still make young players mistakes, and they are still very vulnerable to play action, particularly when the threat of the run is real. As on the flip side for the Cowboys, offensively with Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not sure exactly where I saw this or where I heard this, but when Zeke gets the ball 30 times, they're 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, the one thing we always say about football, the beautiful thing about this game of football, it is a common sense game.
Mm-hmm.
Get this man the football, and we're going to show you why. Because even when things don't happen, he makes things happen. The one thing Zeke is very good at, the 2 things that I think he separates him from every other running back. Okay, 3 things that separate him from all the other running backs. 1, it's his patience. 2, it's his incredible balance. And 3, it is his consistent ability to finish runs. And he's gonna fall forward. So even if you get him, he's still gonna get you 2-3 yards. And that's the one thing that makes great running backs. Can you constantly get me ugly yards? Mm-hmm. And you're going to see here, he gets a couple ugly yards. So this is not bad run defense per se. He's patient, finds a hole, gets skinny, and just falls forward.
Yes.
And he's able to drive. Here's the one thing. This is Vita Vea right here that's on his back. Vita Vea is a mammoth human being. And you could see if you just focus on the lower body of Zeke right there, he's able to plant that left foot and continue to drive forward a couple more yards. that matters. That matters. That builds up. And the
Right.
more you do it, the more it builds up.
It's the difference between 2nd and long or 2nd and 6.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That is exactly right. And here's another play. 1st and 10. You're gonna see he's just gonna get you some ugly yards.
Marcus said how Wade Phillips attacks it, not McVay. I'm talking about McVay in terms of the offensively. How's he going to attack the Cowboys front 7?
Right.
Unless it was something else we said there.
Here again, same thing. Zone play.
Outside zone. Yeah.
Not much there.
Jeez.
Look at that. I mean, that is just.
And that's what I meant. That's what I meant about the Gurley versus Zeke argument, Mo. Is, I mean, I haven't been able to see Gurley be able to do, things where he had to create more yards like this. Because like a lot of people stressing, a lot of people hear it, you hear it in the broadcast and everything like that, and you see it on film. It's very rare when you see Zeke going backwards.
Exactly. And this is here. This is just a pit bull coming at you, man.
This dude is incredible, yo.
Look at that. And then this last play here, this last play here that I'm going to show from Zeke. This was versus the Cowboys. Again, is this going to highlight this run game? This is going to highlight this offensive line. And this is against the Philadelphia Eagles, the world champ Philadelphia Eagles, one of the best fronts in the league. And this is just Zeke's the ability of the offensive line to be patient, to move laterally, to control the blocks, and then the ability of Zeke to his patience, his vision, and again, his ability to finish runs. So we're going to run it fast from the sky angle. You're going to see how he hits this hole and just goes. And then when you watch it from the end zone angle, again, it's patience. It's the ability of the offensive line to move laterally. And look, these aren't no slouches here. You know what I mean? This right here this is excuse me, this is Fletcher Cox, and that's Haloti Ngata. And, this is Michael Bennett over here, even though he gets taken out of the play. But you can see they control everything here. And this is the beautiful thing. Views from the 22. This is why we created Views from the 22. This is the type of play that you just can't see from the broadcast angle until you watch it from this angle and you slow it down. You saw it from the sky angle. It looked like not much, but look at this from this angle right here. See Zach Morton, he's able to get a little hand on Fletcher Cox. And Lael Collins, he's able to get control because of that little fist hit punch that Zach Martin provided. He gets up to the second level on Kendricks. You could see everything here is and just, again, it kind of just speaks for itself.
Look at the athletes. Look at the difference between how the Seattle front of offensive line blocks in comparison to like the Cowboys and even the Rams, like we're going to see in a little bit.
Right. So again, that's going to be key today is just get the ball to Zeke as much as you possibly can because he makes good things happen. You said you got the Gurley stamps, Vic?
Yeah, we got. So if you want to just type in Gurley's big plays for 2018, we got one in we got one against the same Philadelphia team, and we got one against the Detroit Lions week 13. So we got week 15 and week 13.
And you said they're big plays?
Yeah, just type in big plays.
All right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, just check, click the big plays.
Okay.
We got the 21-yard gain there. And just, again, it's just going to highlight how the offensive line is able to move laterally on their outside zone scheme. You're going to see some blocks in which the offensive line is able to turn their hips to create a rushing lane for Todd Gurley, kind of sealing those running lanes for him. Of course, the end zone views, the best views for this. Slow it down a little bit. We're gonna get 66 here. It looks like on Fletcher Cox. He already beat him by getting his hips towards the sideline and sealing that running game. That rushing lane. You got 76 here, and then you got the guard pushing. Who's that? Is that
It looks like a Lodi.
It looks like a Lodi. So he's already out of the play. And I mean, this stuff is important. How they're able to move laterally. 65, yeah, is able to get onto the linebacker, give him a little push at least.
Right.
And if you're just not going to be able to make that tackle on Gurley, how strong he is, if you're off balance.
Oh my God.
He likes to hurdle too. He likes to hurdle. He's not one that he's going to really put his shoulders down, but he'll hurdle you if you get too low. I mean, he's explosive, man. He's explosive through those holes. He has a knack for finding the right hole and things like that. But this offensive line is just great blocking, man. And you're going to see it with this 36-yard gain that should have been a touchdown. This is one of Gurley's famous plays that he likes to screw some of his fantasy owners with.
Where's it at?
The 36-yard gain, week 13. And this one was a little bit tighter hole, but again, he's explosive. He does a good job finding those holes too. And then he's running horizontally now. This was in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, I think.
Right. So this took it down to the 2-minute warning.
Right. So he's just running back slowly a little bit.
Yeah. I got you. All right. So
here you see just the offensive line is just, first of all, you see that their initial punch is very physical.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And even though Detroit is not like the Cowboys front seven, they got some team speed. So the Cowboys front seven is probably going to be the best front seven they go against all season. But look at it, you got Whitworth here sealing his rushing lane, and he starts to celebrate immediately after Gurley explodes through this line.
And I mean, Vic, I think we talked about this earlier. Can you just touch on like the impact that Andrew Whitworth has had since he's been in LA?
Bro, listen, Gurley's second year, like I said, Gurley's second year was probably his worst. I mean, is his worst statistical year. That was Jeff Fisher's last year. So he had bad coaching and he had bad offensive line play that year. But his numbers were cut in half. So they signed Whitworth. They moved Saffold, as you can see, to left guard. He's number 76. And that significantly changes how impressive that offensive line is, not only in pass blocking for them, but definitely in run blocking. He's been the most important signing for them, man. And people just underestimate how important the offensive line is. Like I can't keep stressing how important those five guys are. When you try to make arguments about who's better, Gurley, Zeke, Bell, things like that, we have to take into account how important that offensive line is. Because even though, again, Gurley is a monster, he's very strong. He has a knack for finding the right holes and things like that, and he explodes through those holes. He cannot do all of those things if those guys do not maintain their blocks, and if those guys are not the athletes that they are in the front. So it's important for us and for people to give credit to the offensive line. Are we going to see here a little bit of the Colts offensive line, who also has had a significant upgrade when they drafted Quentin Nelson. As we can see, one team drafted a running back, that other team drafted a offensive lineman, and that team that drafted the offensive lineman is in the playoffs and still playing. So,
well, I mean, Vic, it's 2019. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say. The New York Giants effed up and took a running back when they could have had one of the best linemen to come out in the last 10 years. And he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, to be honest with you. And we're talking about this man right here, number 56, Quentin Nelson, out of Notre Dame. The Colts were actually able to trade up, and they still took him at 6. And so really, this is going to be something that's going to haunt Giants fans forever, is the fact that they could have had this guy. He is a culture changer.
Is it really? Is it really gonna haunt them, or they just because they're gonna fall in love with how beautiful this guy looks, but yet no results at the end of the season?
Well, then they can fall in love with their couches in January, just like everybody else who thinks that was a good pick. But here, this is they pull, and he ends up pulling here on Jadeveon Clowney, and he abuses Jadeveon here. Gets right into his pads, lower man wins, controls him.
Seal the running lanes.
Yes, indeed. He takes him completely out of the play.
That safety or corner wanted no parts of that guard pulling. Was that that was a tackle?
That was the center.
The center. He wanted no parts of that.
Right.
Oop, get down.
And this next play here, man, we got the shirts, we got the trap shirts, we got the trap shirts. This here is a trap play in all accounts. This is something that we haven't really seen too much. Vic pointed it out. You're gonna see from the sky angle, and then I'm gonna have Vic break it down since he's the one who pointed out this play. Exactly what happens here. We're gonna slow it down. I want you guys to keep an eye on the two guards and on the left tackle, Costanzo. Vic, take it away.
So real quick, trap play, right? So it's a play that Jerm fell in love with when he first saw it. What happens is either guy might most likely be the inside guys. They will pretend that they will block the initial guy in front of them, but then they'll move out of their way, and you'll have somebody else take that responsibility of knocking them out. So that's called a trap play. So you're going to see 56. He's going to move out of the way of his man. You're going to see 64. He's going to move out of the way of his man. And then you're going to see, I think 64 takes on 56's guy. And 81 will take on 64's guy, if I'm not mistaken here. So you got two trap plays happening in one.
Right. And so
footage.
So this is, and then Costanzo, he gets up to this is the first of the trap when Costanzo goes up to get the linebacker, and Quentin gets
right. That's what it does. Is it allows them to get to the second level a little bit quicker, and get and beat the linebackers to a certain spot.
Right. So let's run this.
Yep. Go ahead.
Let's run this beautiful bean footage.
Like.
Run that again real quick. As you see 78 and 74. They get to that second level. 78. He ignores this guy. Quentin Nelson ignores. This is the one tech. They both ignore the one tech. And this 64, the right guard, he comes over to get on the one tech. And exactly like Vic says, the tight end comes over to get on the guy who lined up
on 64.
Right.
On the three technique
right there.
Yep. And 41, this is Zach Cunningham there. He had a shot at making this play, but they got a very shifty, underrated running back here in Marlon Mack.
Right.
And again, see, maintain your blocks. You got to maintain your blocks. You got Nelson still maintaining his block against Jadeveon Clowney, and what they got here, about a 10, 12-yard game.
Right, and you could see here with Quentin Nelson, this is initially he does not the best job here. But that's a hard play for a guard to execute. But he's able to regain his balance and regain control of Clown. He gets that left hand in there, and that's it. He's got him. See right here, he comes up with his right hand, but right there, he's got him.
And Marlon Mack is an impressive runner, man. He's got some. He looks like he's got some decent vision. And of course, he's got that shifty, quick twitch ability. And we're gonna see the Chiefs are gonna have to bring their A game for this one.
They certainly will. And the one thing with the Chiefs is the one thing we talked about on the podcast that we did earlier this year. We did several of them. Check them out on Anchor. Views from the 22 on Anchor. We talked about the Chiefs' defense and the problems they've been having. Well, they were missing Justin Houston and they were missing Eric Berry. Justin Houston is the most important part of that front seven. Eric Berry is the most important part of that defense as a whole. But the one thing that the two bright spots on this Chiefs defense, particularly is on their front without Justin Houston, has been Chris Jones and Dee Ford. And Chris Jones, although we don't have any timestamps for him to show you in this game, we're going to talk about him just a little bit after we get off of this. But D Ford and his ability to constantly continue to grow and mature and elevate his play both in the run game and as a pass rusher is going to be key in today's matchup, and it's been key for the Chiefs all year. And again, this is another one of the plays that Vic pulled up. We're going to show from the end zone angle now. I'm not going to spend too much time on this play. Just going to let y'all run right through it so y'all could see it. It's pretty self-explanatory. There he is right here on the edge.
55.
Number 55. The tight end's going to get on him. And you could see his speed. He understands the angles. He gets him off. And he's able to make the tackle.
See, because your initial responsibility is to blow up that edge, right?
Right.
So you see how he'll place his body, or he'll get into that position to where he'll seal, or blow up the edge, and force the running back to have to make a decision inside, and that's where your friends are supposed to come and help. But he was able to. He was not only able to blow up the edge, but also make the play himself. Like he just threw the linebacker. And I mean, in college, in his first couple of years in the NFL, he struggled against the run. But you can see that this season he's gotten not only as good as a pass rusher, but he's gotten better as a run stopper as well.
Mm-hmm.
This year is the Justin Houston sack, right?
Yeah, so this is the Justin Houston sack. And again, we just talked about Justin Houston. He's gonna have a pretty good matchup whether he's on either side. He's going up here on the left side. Vic, this is your play. I haven't seen this play yet.
Yeah, you got Anthony Costanzo at the left tackle and Brandon Smith, another great draft pick by the Colts, man. That's another thing that we haven't spoken about, but they'll have their hands cut off. They'll have their hands full. These two pass rushers here, Justin Houston. Like you'll see the difference between Justin Houston and D Ford. D Ford is more of that quick twitch, flexible pass rusher. Justin Houston here is more of a technician. So you'll see here he'll come with a bull rush, but then he'll also kind of pull Colton Miller down, and then he's going to use that arm to he'll pull him down and kind of use that arm to use the rip move.
Right. So keep an eye right here on this arm.
Yep, his arm is going to get right under his outside armpit, which is his left side.
Right there.
And he's going to use that momentum to just get the edge and stick his hand out for that strip sack.
Right. And as the old adage goes, see ball, get ball.
Yep. So again, he's a very technical pass rusher. He shows a bull rush for him. He extends his arm, then he's able to kind of yank him down, and at the same time use it. Like these guys practice this constantly, where he was able to just get the rip move with his arm under his armpit, and you use the tackle's momentum to kind of bend the edge and stuff like that.
Oh, my bad.
You clicked on the Kansas City offense.
This next play is a D Ford sack.
Yeah, 11 Q3.
Yeah, I got it.
11:38. Yep. So you're gonna see here he uses more speed here. He just swipes at the tackle's arm, and he just uses more speed to get the edge. Houston does meet him there, but they give credit. I think they give credit to D Ford here, right? They give credit to D Ford for the sack fumble.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting matchup, man. Again, the Colts offensive line is much more improved. You got Costanzo at the left tackle, Braden Smith, who not only Quentin Nelson was a great draft pick by them to take him early, but they take Braden Smith, I think it was in the 3rd round. I wasn't a big fan of him. Auburn used him all across the line at tackle, at guard. But the Colts, I mean, they just came in and they put him at the right tackle, man, and so far so good for them. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, though. I think that's a matchup to definitely watch for this game to see if Andrew Luck got some time to pass.
Well, it's supposed to be snowing, so the pass rush, it's all going to be about really who can just make the one play in the pass rush game. So this is Justin Houston right here. You could see one thing we always talk about in the run game is how important it is to set that edge.
You see that position, that position that he's in, where his hips kind of facing towards the running back. right? Set the edge, kind of stifle the left tackle, extend your arms, and be able to come off of that. Has enough speed. And again, they're going to go up against a really quick running back and Marlon Mack. Much more better than Jalen Richard, but you get the idea. You got a little speed guy, and Hitchens just kind of blows him literally into the bench.
Right. And what you want to do when you're facing these guys that are technical, I mean, the first thing you got to do, the first rule is make sure you get your hands on them first.
Yep.
But even when you do that with these technicians, that's shout out to 94 Feet of Life. Skills pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can, we saw last week with Khalil Mack when he went up against some very skilled, highly technicianed tackles, he wasn't as effective. He made some plays, but he wasn't nearly as effective as he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. I mean, Costanzo, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but he is a relatively fundamentally sound tackle. And so is the other right tackle. Would you say his name was Vic? Mike Smith?
Braden Smith.
Yeah, Braden Smith. I mean, so I'm gonna flip the screen here so y'all can see my ugly face. What's happening, beautiful people? You can see a trap. A lot of things. Go ahead, Vic. Go ahead. Take it away, man.
Real quick, on a play-by-play basis, right? On a per down basis, who's gonna have more of an impact? A really good offensive lineman or a running back?
Is this a trick question?
They call Barkley versus Quentin Nelson.
I mean,
on a per down basis, like the dude gave up 1 sack, I think it was, and like 3 pressures all season.
Right. No,
Barkley not only is not going to make every single run, he gave up like 4 sacks and like 10 pressures. so not only you can't make all the runs, but you can't do all the blocking that you're needed for a 2nd overall pick. But
again, we got a lot of flack, we got a lot of heat, we got people who even left the group, and to this day they still have bad things to say about us. Shout out to y'all. Hope y'all watching, hope y'all enjoying it. If not, we really don't give 2 beeps. But we got a lot of slack for saying that we don't believe Saquon Barkley should be a 1st-round pick, particularly number 2 overall. And we're gonna stand by that as long as we live, baby. We're gonna say that with our chest flexed, because here we are, divisional weekend, and the Colts, who did exactly what we said they should do. They traded up, they collected draft picks, they drafted linemen, they got beef. No beef, no Lombardi. All right. Now, we're gonna move on here. We're gonna wrap this show up. We don't want to keep y'all too long. It's already 3:15. We want to
be at work at 4.
You got to be at work at 4. I got to cook me something. We want people to get a little break time before these fascinating matchups start.
You want to switch? You talking about you going to cook something, I'm going to go to work. You want to go to work? I need to cook something.
I'm good, baby. I'm good where I'm at.
Let's go.
All right, so we're going to start. Let's wrap this show up. Let's just wrap this show up. I'm gonna start with the Colts Chiefs. Over-under is 54.5 points. So clearly Vegas is expecting some points, as they should. Indy are 5-point underdogs. The Chiefs have not won a home playoff game since 1993. And I don't think Andy Reid has won a playoff game in I don't know how long. Certainly big there. The last time these two guys played in the playoffs, you remember, Vic, Andrew Luck had that 28-point comeback. It was incredible. So I'm going to ask you right now, if there was one weakness, where should the Chiefs offense attack this Colts defense? Real quick.
Well, Marcus just put here on the comments that Malik Hooker is out.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, there goes your take.
With that being said, you got, because the Colts use a lot of tempo 2 looks, man, pre-snap.
Right.
And there's plays where they'll stay in that tempo 2 look. I mean, that cover 2 look. I'm sorry, cover 2. That's important because the cover 2 is different than the tempo 2. They use that cover 2 look pre-snap. They'll stay at cover 2 at times, and then at times, of course, one of the safeties will come down, either in a robber or helping the run defense. But Malik Hooker does a good job in not letting anybody get deep. He has the speed, he has the quickness, he has the outstanding range that you look for at the free safety position. That is very rare. It's kind of Ed Reed like. He's able to get depth. So with the way he's able to do that, I expected that Tyreek Hill wouldn't be able to get any kind of deep passes in terms of vertical routes, but they were going to be able to beat them underneath because the linebackers do not get enough depth. The corners for the Colts do not cover long enough, especially with guys with speed. So any routes in between the second and third level, the Chiefs will be able to attack. And without Malik Hooker and his range and his speed to make plays on the ball and on the receivers, it's going to be a big loss for the Colts. So I expect the Chiefs, especially with the tight end Travis Kelce,
right,
and Sammy Watkins, and even Tyreek Hill, when they do send him on some deep overs cutting across the field, they're going to find a lot of success against this defense. So
I got you.
I know you love Andrew Luck and the Colts, bro, but I would be very surprised if the Chiefs do not pull this game.
No, I hear you. Vic, you still there? Okay. We may have lost Vic. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think we lost Vic. I'm watching the YouTube. It seems that I am still on there. Okay, cool. So no, Vic brought up a lot of good points there. To me, basically, just to wrap this show up, I think it's going to be Travis Kelce. He talked about that Tampa 2 cover 2. They play various looks, but they play various cover 2s. It's going to be Travis Kelce's ability to run those seam routes. It's going to be the Chiefs' ability to call those smash concepts, flood concepts. Patrick Mahomes has outstanding anticipation. Now, some of that is his IQ, and some of that is the West Coast offense and how everything is a timing thing. And I think that's where they need to attack them. Travis Kelce, I expect him to have a big game with or without Malik Hooker. You're not going to, if you're the Colts, the last thing you want to do is play man coverage versus this team because they're going to carve you up. With the pass rush expected to be slightly slowed down because of the snow, both quarterbacks should have a lot of time. But the key matchup for me is going to be both tight ends on both sides. The Chiefs, I don't know if they're going to be able to cover Eric Ebron. The Colts, Andrew Luck and Eric Ebron in the red zone particularly are nearly unstoppable. And Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they have a connection. Kelce's able to bail him out a couple times. And like I said, those smash concepts, when they run those corner routes with Travis Kelce, that's going to be a hard concept for the Colts to defend with the style of defense that they play. Vic, I see you're back on. We touched on a lot of things. Give me your final prediction real quick. Who you got in this game?
So I think I'm gonna still take the Chiefs, man. Let me get the Chiefs 37, Colts 34. I'm gonna put a tight game on that one.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you one bit. I love Andrew Luck. As everybody knows, I am a huge Andrew Luck fan, as you should be, really, if you're a fan of football. Went back and forth a lot on this game. Look, for the Chiefs, if not now, then when? You have home field advantage. You got a good team. You got your MVP quarterback. You got all these things going for you. You have to win a football game eventually. I love the Colts. We picked them when they were 1-5. We picked them to go to the playoffs. This hurts me to say this. This truly hurts me to say this. I got to go with the Chiefs to win this game. I just think in the end, the Colts defense has not played anything near similar to this offense all year. They've played them a murderer's row. They've played the slawest of slaws when you look at some of the quarterbacks that they faced. So I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. I'm sorry to say it, but hey, next year when number 26 is lining up under center, is lining up behind Andrew Luck, I will take the Colts to take it all the way to February. But as for this year, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this football game.
They're going to still need to improve that defense, bro, because they got pieces offensively. They again, it's a much better offensive line. The quarterback clearly is healthy. Thank God for that, because the NFL needs a quarterback like him. The running game, of course, is not going to be like Bell, but Marlon Mack is a pretty decent runner. They're going to need to work on that defense. And shout out to their front seven, though. They had a great draft class, because Darius Leonard might easily be the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Because their front seven is impressive. Against their run, they were number 8th. They were 8th or 9th against the run this season. So they do have a good run defense, because that front line is impressive against the run. But they do need to get some pass rushers, and they definitely need to get some corners on that defense. So I expect the Chiefs to be able to expose that in this game.
I got you. Move on to the next play. To the next game. I'm gonna leave it right here for you. Dallas at the Rams. Over under is 48.5. The spread is 7.5. That's really high in my opinion. Vic, are the Cowboys finished, or do they finish?
I picked them to lose last week, man. And oh my God, yo. This is a much better offense. This is a much better offensive line. This is a much better passing scheme. You can debate whether Jared Goff is better than Russell Wilson, or Russell Wilson, vice versa, whatever. I'm starting here. The Rams need to get points early.
Okay.
If they cannot get points early, because the Cowboys do struggle, as good as Zeke is, the Cowboys do struggle finishing runs. I think you guys said, what was it, 23rd and scoring in the red zone or something like that.
Yeah.
There's games where they have won games with scoring 13, 17 points. So the Rams do need to score early, and if they're able to get 14, 17 points by the half, they should be able to win this game. So I'm gonna pick the Rams. I'm gonna pick the Rams. I don't expect the Cowboys to have enough offensively, as good as that defense is, to keep up. And I'll take the Rams 24, Cowboys 17.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think it's very possible that there's going to be a narrative that comes out of this game that Sean McVay can't win the big game, because you see in a lot of big spots and a lot of big situations, he gets away from what they do best. He goes away from who they are as a football team. Who they are as a football team is getting Gurley involved, so the play action can get going, so the crossing routes can open up, so the post routes can open up, and all these things that have this creative offense seem so majestic and so beautiful and so well orchestrated. That all happens through Todd Gurley. And as we've seen time and time again, he has a way. This is Sean McVay. This is the guy who everybody's coveting. He has a way of phasing out Todd Gurley. We noticed it early. We noticed it right off the bat when they lost to a subpar team in the Atlanta Falcons last year at home in the playoffs. Hard for me to expect anything more if he needs to mature quick. As for the Cowboys, strong run game, strong defense. They got a pit bull. I think Dak Prescott is a baller. I think he is who he is. I think he's either really close to his ceiling or he's got ways to go. I think he's more closer to his ceiling, so he is who he is. As long as he doesn't make the mistakes, they're going to be fine. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to win this game in the Coliseum, 29-24 Dallas. Real quick, we're going to wrap this show up, Vic. I'm going to give you a couple over-unders. Over-under 9 catches for Amari Cooper. Vic's gone off. All right, so it is. There it goes. We're going to wrap this show up, y'all. I think Amari Cooper matchup is going to be very intriguing. He said that he knows Talib and Peters in and out. Vic, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I don't know what's going on.
Real quick, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up right now, real quick. Over under 9 catches, Amari Cooper.
Under.
Over under 150 scrimmage yards, Todd Gurley.
Over.
Over under 2 touchdowns, Travis Kelce.
Under.
Over under 3 interceptions, Andrew Luck.
Under. Come on, man.
Right,
Damn, dog. Come on, Andrew. I need you to show up, Andrew.
Over under 2 sacks. Over under 2 sacks, Indianapolis Colts front 4.
Ooh. I go with the I'll go with the over. I'll go with the over.
All right, I got you. All right, so we're gonna wrap this show up, y'all. We got another show coming at y'all tomorrow. Same thing. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We're still working on getting better in all 3 phases, being more efficient, being more productive, and getting y'all these lab views and these views as quickly as possible. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Views22 on Twitter, views_22 on Instagram, views from the 22 on Facebook. Join the community page and the group. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on Anchor. We are coming to Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We everywhere, baby. As always, this rapid fire, these over-unders were presented by Ham's Homemade Cookies. Go buy the damn cookies. Enjoy the game. 2-2.